In this lesson, I want to think about how the read-only SData provider can be used to extend the capabilities of Sage CRM. To do this, I need to put the SData interface into some context. SData is a form of web service, and as I discussed in the e-learning lessons about web services, there are in fact two forms of web service in Sage CRM. SData is a Sage standard that is used across many of Sage's products. It's a form of web service based on RESTful principles, representational state transfer. SOAP web services are the classic interfaces that adhere to the SOAP protocol specification. It's a good idea to review the e-learning lessons on SOAP-based web services and system architecture, as these explain how the architecture of the product leads there to be two APIs in usage. Sage CRM implemented read-only support for the SData communication standard back in Sage CRM version 7, but the implementation of the API continues to develop. Most recently, it has been used to enable the AJAX features of the browser-based client-side API that was added in Sage CRM 7.2. This diagram shows the Java Tomcat parts of the Sage CRM architecture. SData is used by the newer features that use the Tomcat web app technology as its communication protocol. The usage of SData continues to open up new possibilities for exchanging data between Sage applications. Developers working with Sage CRM can control how SData can allow data from custom entities and views to be published to the web by a simple click. The screen that I've shown here shows the creation of a view in the context of the person entity. The view is a new view and is called SData Person Search and has been marked as available to SData. The view, once exposed to SData, can be accessed. This URI is a request for its schema. An SData URL is available for an external application to call, not just for the schema, but for the application data that sits in the table. The SData syntax allows an external application to form a request that limits the rows returned. Consider this SQL statement. Now, this SQL statement is using the SData Person Search view. It's looking for people where the city is New York and the list needs to be returned in the order of the person last name. The equivalent SData request is this. So you've got HTTP server name, SData install name, Sage CRM, then /v/SData Person Search. Now the key thing is that we've written in yellow here, which is where address city equals New York, order by person last name. Any user can access SData, but what they see is subject to their rights, and all requests have to be authenticated. Now, you have to imagine the program that is formulating this request for information. So any request that is formed has to add in some form of authentication to allow it to get information out of CRM. Now, this could include, as this example shows, preemptive authentication by adding in the credentials into the header, the Sage or authorization header. Or you can use challenge and response. And it's important to note that access to data via the REST-based interface is controlled by security profiles. This has the effect of limiting access to rows within entities and views. So field level security will also limit the columns that are returned within the generated XML. So here, the requesting application has to provide authentication credentials. Once that's provided, the result is handed back. Now, SData, as a web service, provides a very easy way of allowing third-party applications to access group-like data while at the time ensuring strict security. This is because I've come into a view to look at the information returned by a particular view. So the community has documentations and examples that provide more in-depth examples of using SData in this way. But what I want to do is I want to look at how SData can be used for other forms of simple customizations inside CRM. In this screen, you can see that I have a gadget that allows me to see which users are currently logged on into Sage CRM. This is an example of an SData list gadget. It's based on a simple view that a system administrator can create. SData list gadgets can be built from either a table in the database like users, activity, company, etc., or from a custom view. The information about which users are logged on is held inside the activity table, but actually simply linking to the table would not filter it to just those users currently in the system. I really want to use a view to do that. I defined the view underneath Administration, Customization, Activity. Just defined it as a new view. Now the view that I used was based on the existing vUserActivity view, and I added in a little bit more information. So this select statement that we see here will pull back the information about users who have an active session. And you'll note that I've marked my view as an SData view. And once the view is created, I can then use it as a data source for an SData list gadget. To do that, I need to modify my interactive dashboard and add a new gadget. In the gadget wizard that followed, I'd need to select SData list as the gadget type. The SData gadget, can connect to any other Sage or third-party application that provides feeds in SData format. I have to link back into my install of Sage CRM with its newly created custom view. So I need to make sure that I've checked the Use Sage CRM SData feed as the SData provider. I can now pick my new view from the alphabetical list of SData sources. It's important that I've picked the view and not the activity table on which it's based. And once I've done that, I can choose whatever fields that I want to include in my output. And if necessary, I could have added further filtering into the SData gadget. Once I've done that, I can give the gadget a name before saving and it then appearing within my dashboard. More information about building interactive dashboard gadgets, including SData lists and SData summary gadgets, can be found in other e-learning lessons and documentations and articles on the community site.